What's up, clan? Island Trader FX here. I know it's been a minute, but guess what? We're here and we're back with another one. Um, in today's video, I'm not going to really be touching on Forex. I might touch just a little bit on Forex, but it's been 2 weeks since I've made a video, and I felt like it would make sense to really speak about what it is that I've been really looking into even deeply. Um, of course, right now, as we would know, a lot of things um, is headed in a digital direction. You have stocks, you have assets now being tokenized. You have the whole crypto world booming, and I could say that we are moving in a digital direction. Everything will be digital. Um, so I've been really taking time to, explore and understand um, the digital asset that I decided to take hold of and started investing. If you don't know, XRP, which was created by the Ripple company, is the only digital asset that I really double down on. I mean, there are others that I have in the past like Jasmine and Pi and things of that nature, but the one that I'm really backing, the one that I've noticed that is going to completely change the way that finances are moved globally would be XRP. Okay, and I want to dive a bit deeper um, into XRP and why I would have taken this token as my main token and continue to actively invest in it. So stay tuned. That's what we're going to be talking about: XRP, the XRP ledger, and why it is the token that I have decided to back fully. All right, but just before we start, just going to let you guys know this is for educational purposes only, and these are my opinion. So let's get into the video. Ciao. It's very unfortunate because I actually did this entire video in its entirety, and then I realized my mic had an issue. But nevertheless, we'll just have to do it again. That's just what it is. Okay, so let's just get to it. Let's just get straight to it. I have some notes up on the screen. If you could read along, no problem. But what is XRP, right? A lot of people ask that question. What is XRP? Yes, I've heard you speak about it, but what exactly is XRP? XRP is a cryptocurrency designed for fast, low cost international payments on the XRP ledger, which is a decentralized and open source public blockchain. The purpose of XRP, you may ask. The XRP ledger was created in 2012 to address the limitations of traditional cross-border payment system. And we know what that would be: the SWIFT network, right? Systems such as the SWIFT network, by offering a faster and a cheaper alternative. XRP can function as a bridge currency, allowing financial institutions and individuals to move value across different networks almost instantly. Sorry about that. Almost instantly, right? So we know the SWIFT network. When it comes to sending money from one party to the next, it takes several days. Wire transfer, that's the word. When it comes to wire transfer, it takes several days. And to add to that, it is very expensive. If I have to send money, right? If I have to send money from here where I live to the United States, I would have to pay a fee of $75 just for the transaction to happen. So in addition to the money that I'm already sending over, it would cost $75 using the SWIFT network. And XRP is here to solve that issue. Okay, speed and cost is a big thing. So transaction on the XRP ledger typically settles in 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, that is even less than um, the BTC transactions. BTC transactions is usually about 10 minutes, right? But XRP settles transactions in 3 to 5 seconds, right? With very minimal free fees, okay? Often costing less than a penny. All right. So take that into consideration. It is way faster and way cheaper. Okay. So the question is, okay, yes, you love XRP. It makes sense. It's faster, it's quicker, it's cheaper. Um, but how will it grow? How will I make money? All right. So there are approximately 60 billion XRP in circulation right now, with a total maximum supply fixed at 100 billion. So 100 billion XRP was created, and currently we have 60.3 billion XRP in circulation. The remaining supply is held in escrow by Ripple and is released gradually to manage market volatility. Okay. Um, Token burning. All right. Instead of paying fees to validators, a small amount of XRP is burned, permanently destroyed with every transaction. This makes XRP a slightly deflationary asset over time. All right. So as we know the laws of supply and demand, when when supply is low, demand goes high. Okay. So if tokens are being burned permanently every time a transaction happens, that means the total supply of XRP decreases. So if it decreases, then obviously um, demand will increase. All right. The daily burn of XRP is approximately 163 to 750 XRP. Though this amount varies based on network activity, each transaction burns a small fee, so the total daily burn depends on the number of transactions and their complexity. Okay. Okay. The current range of XRP that is burnt, we're looking at 163 to 750 XRP being burnt a day, right? If you have to give it a dollar value, we're looking at $360 to 160, sorry, 1,657 based on current market price. The current market price as we speak right now should be roughly $2.20. Okay. So that is one way that the price of XRP will increase if you are a holder and you are a investor in XRP. So with time, the supply will go low and the demand will go up because we have a finite or a fixed amount, which is 600 billion, right? The other one is the ETFs. So ETFs are very new. They are pretty much new in the XRP space. As of late November 2025, there are at least 5 spot XRP ETFs actively trading in the US. More are expected to launch soon, including one from 21 Shares on December 1st, 2025. All right. So let's just take a look at some of the big hedge funds and financial institutions that currently have the XRP ETFs. So you have Canary Capital, you have Rex, you have Amplify, you have Franklin Templeton, which is a big one. You have Bitwise, sorry. You have Grayscale. You have 21 Shares that is upcoming December 1st, which is tomorrow. All right. As of late November 2025, XRP ETFs has collectively accumulated approximately 339 million XRP. Bear in mind, I indicated that we have a fixed supply of 100 billion. These ETFs just started out popping up one after the other. Okay, and collectively they have already swallowed 339 million XRP. So what does that tell you? We don't even have BlackRock. We don't even have Fidelity, those big players. And we know when those big players come online, they're going to be sucking up more XRP. So, and we know when supply goes low, demand goes up. All right. The first five ETFs launch have attracted significant capital with steady inflows continuing after their debut. Okay. For instance, by November 2025, Franklin Templeton ETF held 32.4 million XRP. All right, that's Franklin Templeton on its own. Okay. Um, and things like that will drive the price of XRP up in the future, right? So the ETFs are on board. Anytime a fund or big financial institution wants to offer up a ETF, they would have to go to the exchanges and purchase XRP. And we have a finite supply, right? So either they go to the exchanges or they go to the OTCs, right? And OTC is basically an over-the-counter transaction. So, for example, anything outside of buying on the exchanges would be considered to be OTC, right? If I have 50 million XRP and you believe that XRP will grow in value, you could just purchase that 50 million XRP from me, right? Seeing that the transaction wasn't done on the exchange, you will not see a spike in the price, right? And from what I've been hearing, the OTC pool is quickly depleting. All right. Now, when the OTC pool is finished, they don't have any more XRP there. Guess where people would have to buy XRP? On the exchanges. And the exchanges only have so much XRP. So, what's going to happen? There's going to be a demand. So, it's going to go up in price. And that is what we're going to be seeing very soon. All right. Outside of that, you have mass adoption globally, partnerships with financial institutions and central banks, along with strategic investments and funding secured by Ripple, can drive positive market sentiment and signal growing real world utility. Okay, as more banks, payment providers, and financial institutions use the XRP ledger and Ripple on demand liquidity for cross border transactions, the utility and demand for XRP are likely to go up. Okay, so if today or tomorrow, um, all financial transactions, let's say the Swift network is no longer there, or we could even say XRP begins to work in tandem with the Swift network globally. And we know for a fact that anytime a transaction is done on the XRP ledger, a fee is attached. So if in London you do a transaction, you the person that is doing the transaction would have to pay a fee. In America, the person that doing the transaction would have to pay a fee. In Israel, the person doing the transaction would have to pay a fee. All of these things draw money. Okay, all of those things create capital for Ripple, which in turn will continue to fund XRP, right? So this will, of course, drive the overall price of XRP in the future. So if you are a long-term holder, kudos to you. I would say continue to buy, right? Currently the price is 220. I have no doubt that in the future it's going to be a lot more. So keep buying. Before we're done with that, I just want to go ahead and show you guys a quick video, a video that I looked at a few years ago, but even today it still gets me hyped. Let's take a look at that video.
Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda: the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon? And former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
So like the video indicated, you decide. All right. But that was pretty much it for the XRP and what I've been up to side of things. We're going to just quickly run over to TradingView just to do a quick top-down analysis on a gold trade that I took, and we're gonna call it a day after that. All right. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay, so the trade that I took was on gold. It was a 1 to 1.5, nice clean trade. Um, um, we could definitely see for a few weeks. Well, a few weeks ago, gold would have dropped like crazy, and everybody was like, "Okay, it looks like gold is gonna be bearish." 4-hour POIs were not holding, daily POIs were not holding, but I knew for a fact that we were approaching weekly POIs. So this is what I did. I waited for price to come into that weekly POI. In that case, it would be a weekly fair value gap. You could see that as soon as price came in there, it pushed back to the upside right away. Going down to my daily time frame, after price pushed back to the upside, we could see that price pushed even further, doing what? Obliterating a few highs on the daily time frame. Let me just pull those highs out so you could see it clear as day. You have one high right here, bam, price got rid of. You have a second high right here, price got rid of, bam. Okay, and in pushing to the upside, what did they do? They created daily fair value gaps. We waited for price to come back into those daily fair value gaps on the 4-hour time frame. When price came back down into that daily fair value gap, sorry, that 4-hour yes, the daily fair value gap, sorry, we entered right here. We put our stops below the low right here, and right after price came into here, you could have seen price rally to the upside. They were not moving violently, but nice and steadily. And I tackled my 4-hour close, which is something that I always do. If we go to the line chart, we could definitely see it lines perfectly with this, and price hit TP, and that was it for that particular trade. All right. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, or you want me to, do some more research and put out another video regarding XRP and Ripple, let me know. Like the video, subscribe, and of course share. And I will see you in the next one. Ciao.